Hey guys, today I'm headed back to Greece. I leave in a couple of hours to go to the airport to catch my flight to London and then to Athens. Saturday, I went and got my coronavirus test, and then I got the results yesterday saying that I'm negative, so I'm good to go. Let's just see how this all goes. I don't know how long check-in's going to take, and then once I arrive in Athens, I have a feeling it'll be a really long time by the time I get off the plane until I'm actually allowed to leave the airport, because now they have all these protocols in place where you have to show your negative coronavirus test and your passenger locator form, and there's a possibility that I might have to be tested again, but that's okay. I get to go back, and that's all that really matters. Anyway, just thought I'd come to you from my parents' backyard with the birds singing. It's not super early, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. It's a really nice time to be awake here because no one in my house is up yet. Okay, I'm in the terminal. I have checked in, but I think this is the least busy I have ever seen this international terminal. And it took a long time to check in. They asked me for all of the QR codes, both for London and for Greece, and they wanted to see my coronavirus test. At least people were asking this time. When I got to the US last time, no one asked. So when I got to the gate initially, there was almost no one there, and I actually thought the flight was going to be pretty empty. But as you can see, more people started showing up, and the more people started showing up, the less people were social distancing from each other. The airline was trying to get people to social distance, but the more people showed up, the less and less that happened. As you can see, when we were boarding, that did happen a little bit until we got on the plane. I would have to say that overall, American Airlines tried, but British Airways did a much better job of this. As you can see from the footage, the flight was very full. I was very lucky that the seat between me and the gentleman in my row was empty. Not every row was like this, although I don't know if some of these people were family members and that's why they were sitting next to each other. And this is us deplaning. I didn't film so much during the flight because it was a pretty typical flight except for less food. They did hand out hand sanitizers, but only once during the entire flight. And of course, now we have the long walk from the plane in Heathrow to the transfer. In Heathrow, I had to pick up my second boarding pass because my next flight was on British Airways. They again wanted to see my QR code for Greece, my negative coronavirus test, and they also wanted to see my Greek residence permit because Americans are not technically allowed into the EU unless they are EU residents, which I am. But I had about a 5-hour layover. In fact, my gate wasn't listed for a very long time. Luckily, I got to leave from the same gates as I entered in the A gates. So I hung out for a few hours and tried to nap. I had a pret-a-manger sandwich and did some work. British Airways flight to Athens. There were a lot less people on this flight. I had a whole row to myself, just like on the beginning. I did not film a whole lot because I was pretty tired at this point. So as you can see, we've now landed in Athens, and I'm going to jump on here and tell you exactly what I had to go through when I landed in Greece, because I know a lot of you are interested in that. What I will say is that my flight came in from the UK. So if you come in from somewhere that's not the UK, the procedures might be slightly different. This was after the new variant was found, so they were being very strict with flights from the UK. Once we landed in Greece, we were shuttled, as you saw, into that line, and we waited until we were allowed by group to sort of go into this other room. They were counting how many people could go in. Once we were allowed to go in that room, someone checked my PCR test and my QR code that you were supposed to get in advance with the PLF form, the passenger locator form. Then we snaked our way around, and they had all these barriers set up, and that's where they were doing rapid corona tests. And they also scanned your QR code before they took your coronavirus test. So that way they knew who you were, and they wrote down your name with your little test strip and everything. So then we went into another room where I discovered that everybody from my flight was waiting. And what I didn't know is that they were waiting for everyone's rapid test to come back before they let us out of the room. Now, I was one of the people at the very end, which was kind of a good thing, because I then didn't have to sit in that other room. So when I got in, I sat there for 2 or 3 minutes, and then somebody came out and announced in Greek. I assumed that all was good and we could go. Somebody clapped and a bunch of people started standing up. Then we went to immigration. Oh, I should say that all took about 30 minutes. From the time we got in the line to the time I got into that other room was about 30 minutes. I clocked it roughly. Then we were allowed to go to immigration. Immigration took forever. They only had 3 people working, and everybody was made to go through the EU passport line because there's not a lot of non-EU citizens flying into Greece right now, so it kind of makes sense. Also, when I got up to the immigration counter, they asked me where in Athens I was staying. So, they just wanted to know the neighborhood. I guess they probably just wanted to know Athens, but me having lived in Greece for so long, I just assumed they mean my neighborhood. And then I was free to go. What was really interesting is that nowhere during this time did anyone tell me to self-isolate once I left the airport. On the travel.gov.gr website, I need to check that website URL, but I believe that's it. It says that if you're arriving from anywhere, you need to self-isolate for 3 days. And if you're coming from the UK, you need to self-isolate for 10 days and then have another test. But nowhere did anyone tell me this. I thought that would happen when they scanned the QR code, because I figured that's when it would say, Tiffany has come from the US, so she needs to self-isolate for 3 days. That never happened. Hope this was helpful. If for some reason you have more questions, please ask down in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.